Hello, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, type loud and clear in the chat box. Just let me check my audio. Right. Looks like the audio is working fine. Hello, good evening. This is Eunice Tam coming live from Singapore. How is it going, everybody? Right. So just let us know where you are watching this from. Are you watching this from Singapore? Are you watching this from overseas? And if you're watching this from overseas, which country, which city, what's the time zone? Are you guys still working from home and still locked down? Or what's going on, right? If you are watching this from Singapore, let us know. Have you had your dinner? What do you have? Or you having your dinner as you watch this, right? Right. Once again, my name is Eunice Tan. Welcome. I'm an entrepreneur and speaker and trainer. Welcome to our Facebook page and YouTube channel on Daily People Skills. Right. So this is where we share our experiences when dealing with people and the mistakes we made, and of course, many of the hot tips and solutions we use in our daily lives. Now, many people think that people skills is just about EQ, communication skills, leadership skills, but people skills go much, much beyond that. At the bottom line, it is about who you really are. Because before you can manage anyone, you must first manage yourself. It is also one skill that will never be replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. More about that later on. For now, let's jump right into today's topic. I'd like to start my session on time. Let me share my screen. Yes, that's right. Now, today's topic is on something that is on many people's mind, but one of those subjects that are most misdirected. So, do you crave for respect by others? Do you be heard? Have you been chasing them through things like qualifications, positions, money, status, titles? Why don't you stop chasing them and have them chase after you instead? And start being sought after, I call it. So yes, today we are going to talk about how to become a person whom others will respect, will value you, and they can't wait to hear what you have got to say. Now, if you think you know something, you might be in for some surprises. I always talk about all these topics, right? Some of you may be very familiar with it, but if you have been following me for a while and check out all our other videos, you will realize that I always present a different perspective to these so-called familiar topics. Now, by the end of this session, I want you to be able to flip your mind and start looking at things from a very different perspective. So watch to the end as we recap the 5 deepest desires that everyone craves. Take a look at the most common ways of getting these desires and what are the problems with these ways. And also, we'll end off with what are the 10 traits of the most sought after person, right? So let's get started for today. So in my other video, I talk about the 5 deepest desires everyone craves, one way or another. Now, you can check it out, but very quickly, let's recap. They are respect, acknowledge, listen, appreciate, and love, right? And if you look at the acronym, I always call it as the RALA, R-A-L-A-L. They are not in any particular order. It's just to help you to remember it easier. Right. So if you look at it, no matter what we say, right, whether you and what achievement you have, at the end of the day, why do we go after the money? Why do we go after the big house? The big positions and everything? It's always usually to fulfill one of these 5 desires. Yes, right. So how do we normally do this, right? Just to get this one of these 5 desires satisfied. Now, some of the common ways, right? I wouldn't say these are the only ways, but these are the common ways. Let's take a look. Of course, the most common way is qualifications. That's why we keep asking our children to study hard, and everybody is going for a degree or one way or another. And after getting the degree at their work, people will tend to go after some more qualification, some more further studies, and especially in terms of technical skills. But what a lot of people have overlooked is that in terms of other kind of skills, they call it the soft skills, right? But I don't really like to call it the soft skills because there's nothing soft about it. So some call it the transferable skills, some call it the lifelong skills. Now these are I call them the life-saving skills, right? These are your leadership, your people skills, of course. So if you have not done so yet, like and share this video, okay? Right? So a lot of people go for qualifications and so as to make them more achievable, more sought after in that sense. So thinking that another piece of paper will help them to make another $1,000, $10,000, help them to get that promotions. Yes. So qualification is one of the most common way of we want to get that respect, or we want to get to people to value us. So it's a very straightforward and very common way, right? Now we also use positions and titles to get respect from people, right? And that's why we always go for the promotions, right? And every year end when we get the review, we get a little bit nervous about it, and what are we going to do? And we always at the end of the year, we also, when they review the salary package, whether we get any bonus, whether we get any increment, and things like that. So we go for the PhD, we go for another to get ourselves so that we can call ourselves a doctor, not just the medical doctor, but the other kind of doctor. We also go for the CEOs, the high titles, very prestige titles, and some people even have I've come across people who are so tied up about it that they don't like people to call them by their first name, but they like people to call them by Mr. or Miss, right? So this is just to fit the so-called ego at times, from time to time, right? We'll talk about all these common ways. There's nothing wrong with them per se, right? I'm just going through one by one first, and then we'll talk about what's the good part and then what's the not so good part about it. Now, another thing we use to gain respect and get people to value us and listen to us is, of course, through money, right? Some people, they use their they for whatever reason, some people maybe because when they were young they were poor and they were bullied, and nobody listened to them and they were looked down upon. So when they grow up, they have this belief system that I need to have a lot of money so that people will respect me, right? Because money makes the world goes round, right? And also sometimes you have a lot of money, you can do a lot of things. Definitely, money will give you choices. That's the good thing about money. It should be seen as a tool, and it gives you the options, the choices of what you want to do with the choices that you have in life. Yes. So that you can do things that because you choose to, not because you have to, or you have no choice, in fact, right? Another possibility that how we gain respect from others is through status and lifestyle. So for example, people look at your postal code, your kind of property you stay in, the holidays, the branded goods that you buy, to carry, the dining area. A lot of people post in, when they go for fine dining, they will post about it and everything, right? And just to get some eyeball and all. Now, as I mentioned, right, all these, there's nothing wrong with all these fine things in life, right? So don't get me wrong, really seriously, I love the fine things in life as well. Go for it, in fact, I say, right? But these things should serve me, not I serve them. I should be the master over them and not a slave to them. And more importantly, I don't draw who I am from these things. And which, if you take a look, these things are all external, isn't it? Right? And they all may form part of what I do or what I have, but it does not determine who I am. So that is something that is very, very important to differentiate. So that is the difference between some people who have a healthy way of looking at all these common ways of achieving them, going after all these qualification, money, position, power, status, whatever you call them, right? That's fine, right? But do it with the right kind of attitude, with the healthy kind of attitude. They just form part of what you have or what you do, but they are not part, or they don't form who you are. That's what I want to emphasize on. Now, what is the problem with these common ways, right? The problem with this, right, as I mentioned, right, we keep chasing them. So after the next qualification, the next millions, the next deal, right, we just keep chasing and chasing. Hence the expression, the rat race, right? Right? It just keep going on and on. And while we are going on and on, right, others are also doing the same thing. And moreover, they are catching up with us. That's why we're so afraid that the young ones, we compete with the young ones, and then we cannot compete with them. And then when the young one gets to our age, the middle age, then they realize, when they were young, they don't understand what the middle age people are talking about. We are not replacing you and all that. They don't understand the fears. But when the young ones come to the middle age, and then they face with the next generation, then they realize, now they know what were the elders talking about, right? Because they can feel the same kind of fears, the same kind of replacement, the same kind of scenario of competing with the younger generation as well, right? And as we go along, right, and you will realize that some things may become obsolete or less valuable over time, especially, for example, the technical skills. Not that they are useless, but it's just that because, for example, technology change, right, and especially the last few years, things move so fast that what we used to say, right, what you learned 10 years ago may not be applicable this year now. And whenever I say that, I find the timeline is getting shorter and shorter. I will be saying what you used to know 5 years ago may not be applicable now. And these days, I find myself saying that things like what 2 years ago, 1 year ago even, it may not be applicable these days anymore, right? Because things are moving so fast. And a lot of times, by the time you learn and you pick up, right, it's already gone, right? A new technology has come on, right? My technical skills, I also don't mean just technology skills, but also other things. So even like things like accounts works, accountants, right? I deal with a lot of accountants, and I deal with a lot of legal compliance. That's what my main business is about. And we deal with sales and marketing, even, right? Something that is so alive and so ongoing. All these things, right? Whatever you have learned before, it has absolutely, in terms of the technical skill part, it has thrown out of the window, right? Because when I first started, I learned about marketing, right? It used to be something that is there's a lot of prints and offline, but now all these are already not so useful anymore. Nowadays, it's about the online marketing, which is a new skill set, new technical skill set. We all have to start learning again, right? So this is what I mean, that some things may become obsolete or less valuable over time. And some even in fact, right, some CEOs or high level management people have even told me that sometimes they don't even know where have they placed their certification, right? Then it's like, because for over the years, less and less people ask for their qualifications. They have been headhunted, not so much of the paper qualification, but more because of their practical experience, their life experience, the exposure and all that. So you will realize that when they are being headhunted for their experiences, what are to win is it's not just so much of the technical skills, but yes, that one part of it, like I mentioned just now, it is important, but also because the way they manage people, they can lead a team, they can start a business unit, they can, start something new in a new country. This is what they are looking after, going after the headhunter company. A small part of it, the tip of the iceberg, right? And the thing is that, you see, so some things will become obsolete and less valuable if we just depend on external factors. Now, most important of all, right, what will become of us when we have lost all these external stuff? Think about it. right? And that is something that actually drive people to depression. I've seen a lot of people, because they have been replaced by the new things in, the new technology, whether it's new technology, whether it's new concept, new ideas, new people, and they couldn't cope with it. And their whole identity, right, of who they are is tied to all this external stuff. And when these things are gone, the qualifications are no longer valuable, the technical skills are no longer valuable, and they lost. Say for example, they make an investment that is and they lose money, and they lost their houses, they go bankrupt. Now that they have no money, and a lot of things that are external. If we tie our identity to the external stuff, what happened to us when we lose all these external stuff? What will become of us? Then that means there's nothing left. That's what drives a lot of people go into depression, and they start to have they couldn't get, and they go the downward spiral, and they couldn't get out of it, right? So is there a better solution then? Of course there is, right? Because it's all, some people of you is like, this is so depressing, okay? And yes, my session have always, if you know me, I've always been a more optimistic person. I like to lift people up and speak encouraging words and all. And of course, there's a better solution, right? And what I propose is, and I've seen it happen, I've seen it work, right, is that the better solution is to become the person whom you will follow, right? After all, you are with yourself 24/7, right? Now you can start listing down the traits of the person you respect, you value, and whose words carry a lot of weight. Meaning, when this person opens his or her mouth, you will stop whatever you are doing and listen to what he has to say. Now, let me recap this slide. It's very, very important, so I don't want to rush through this, right? Okay, so instead of chasing, what I'm trying to say here is that instead of chasing all this external stuff as the main core and surround your whole life around it, right? Make it's just part of it. It's just a part of it. But the main core, it should be you becoming the person whom you yourself want to follow, whom you yourself want to respect, whom you yourself value, and whose words carry a lot of weight. Get it? Right? So become that person, and all the external things, I can assure you, will come and chase after you. They will hunt you down instead of you hunting them. So how does that sound, right? Isn't it greater to have them hunting you rather than you hunting them? I know, because I've been through that stage, right, whereby chase after money, the fame, the power, and everything. But the thing is that it's really a very tiring process. But when I learned this method of, right, is what we call the be do have. That means you become the person that you want to be, and as along the way, because of that, you do the things that you will be, you will do that what this person will do, right? And you will have all the things that this person will have, right? A lot of people go from, I will have all these things first, then I will have money first, then I will do more charity, I will be more generous, and then I'll be a generous person. But actually, it's not true. It's you be a generous person, you do all the generous stuff, and then you will have money coming after you. Right? I know it sounds a bit strange, but I know many of you have already embarked on this journey. For those who have, this is just to emphasize it really works. Whether you believe or not, it works. It's just like the sun will shine on you whether you believe or not. For those who have never heard of this principle and you are wondering what it is, right? You have nothing to lose, but just give it a go. Seriously, there's nothing to lose, right? Right? So you might be saying, right? You might be asking, so where do I even begin? What are you talking about, right? And where do you even begin, in the sense that there are so many good traits of a person that you respect, right? Just think of someone you respect and think of all the good traits that this person have, right? So and for me, right, I was doing this exercise as well. I don't ask you to do something which I have not done before. So that's why I know it works. I've already done all the R&D. I've already done all the mistakes and see about all the things that don't work, right? Okay, so there are a lot of traits on what a what a sought after person looks like, what are the characteristics and all. So I have listed down the 10 fundamental traits of someone whom I will respect, I will value, and I will listen to. Now, initially, I wanted to keep to 3, right, to keep things simple. But it's really impossible because it's just so hard to have just 3. And there are some common ones that stretch across the board. And when I look at different kind of people that whom I respect, they can be male, female, they can be entrepreneur, they can be homemaker, they can be anybody, right, or some a politician, or a so-called some a layman on the street. But I really find that there are some common traits, and I cannot just keep to 3. And I spend to 5, but it's still not enough. And I spent to 7, and I finally decided I have to stop at 10. Anything more is too much. You can't remember anyway, right? So anything lesser is too little to give you a good picture of a good justifiable big picture. So here we go, right? In no particular order, the 10 fundamental traits of a sought after person. Now, the first one I have put down is true confidence, right? And if you notice, right, I indicate that as a true confidence, not the fake kind of confidence, not the puff up confidence, not the boost kind of, wow, look at me, pretend to be confident. I know there are some people who say fake it till you make it, right? And to a certain extent, in a way, it's true. But I know there are also another half of you, right? That you really don't like the word fake it till you make it, right? And you have an slight issue. Now, to do that part, right, is actually just to just keep telling yourself you can do it in that sense. But I know sometimes it's really hard. So some people have come up with this term. I know one of my mentors have taught me this: faith it till you make it. Right? FAITH. Don't fake it, faith it. That means you have faith in that thing until you make it. Right? So the true confidence I'm talking about is an inner knowing inside yourself, knowing that you can do this job, knowing that you can make things happen, knowing that you can consider it done. Right? You can just somebody give you a task and you can just say that it's considered it done. And you have so much confidence in the sense that people just pass to you because they also have the confidence that you will get things done. And it's come from within you, it's come from inside. And when it comes from inside, right, it's just so amazing. People will notice you. They don't even know why they are noticing you. They might meet you for the first time, but they don't know why, but you just assume confidence that they cannot explain. Now, this is the true confidence that I know a lot of people are craving after, they are going after, and it starts from within, from inside out. A lot of people go from outside in, but truly, the true confidence, a lot of things, in fact, all the 10 traits here, a lot of things are from inside out. And once it's from inside out, meaning what? It's already rooted inside you. You can never lose it, right? And your circumstances can change, your environment can change, but you will not be wavered. You have a strong ankle, like the boat, right? You have a strong ankle, and no matter how strong the wave is, the boat will stay where they are. They won't be swayed, they won't be toppled over and all. So now the true confidence is what is that, right? It's really an inner knowing. No matter how violent the storm is around you, how chaotic everybody is running around like a headless chicken, you have a true confidence, an inner knowing to know that, what, it's okay, all is well, everything's been taken care of, it will work out in the end. Now just let's sit down and get this, what we have to do. And it's just so attractive to for people around you, right? Next, someone with substance, okay? And we call it with substance, right? Meaning in the sense that you are not an empty vessel, right? I know a lot of people, they are very good in what they are doing and all, right? But there are also another group of people who are very, they are very good at presenting themselves. They are very good at communicating and all, very good at talking and buff up themselves and all. But when you spend time with them, you know that they don't really know what they are doing. They have only this little bit of knowledge, and they say that they have this much of knowledge, right? And I know most people don't like to do that, and that's why most people will think that they are not good enough, right? And but the thing is that, so you need to, with that true confidence, right? You are or with the true confidence, someone with substance, right? When you have someone with substance, you have the true confidence. And also when you have the substance, when you know what you're talking about, you know your contents, your experience, you know how to present it and put it easier for other people um, uh, to digest, to understand from their point of view. You are able to teach them from different angle. You can teach them using different methods, yeah, and to share your knowledge and all. That in turn give you true confidence. So I would say these 2 points in terms of true confidence and someone with substance, right? They kind of go hand in hand. It's like a cycle, right? The more substance you have, the more confidence you have. The more confidence you have, the more you want to be. You present yourself. You know how to present yourself with someone with substance. You are able to shine, right? Okay, so at the end of the day, we don't want to be an empty vessel. So if you think that your knowledge is not good enough, right, you still have a lot of way to go. Just keep improving. So one thing is that I also don't want you to go into the other extreme to keep saying that you are not good enough, but know that you are good enough. You may not be good enough for everybody, but you are good enough for somebody, right? So you just know that in a humble way that there is always something new to be learned. So you keep improving, improving. And I always say all you have to do is to be 1% better than yesterday. That's all you need to do. And before you know it, right, you grow to become someone with substance without even putting that extra effort, right? Then next, versatile or adaptable, right? I like to use the word versatile because when it comes to things, right, we like things to be versatile. We like our clothes to be versatile. We can wear something that okay, maybe because I'm lazy, I like to wear something that is suitable, that is versatile enough for me to even just throw on a jacket and I can go to somewhere a little bit more formal, and or if not, I can dress down a little bit. It's just so easy. I don't have to go back and change. As a person too, you too, right? You need to be very, very versatile, or some people say grammatically it should be called adaptable. Yeah, whichever word that you like. Okay, right? So for example, right, some people they are so used to being a leader. So one day when they are being thrown in a position whereby they are no longer a leader but a follower, I've seen so many people that they couldn't take it. Right, it's very hard for them to be a follower because they've been a leader most of their lives, or at least the last 10 years, for example. Right now, but I've also seen people who have no problems doing that transition, right? And they know that, for example, in the marketplace, right? Maybe someone who has been, he used to be drawing like a 5-figure sum, or 6-figure sum on a yearly basis. And, the company somehow, let them go because the company is not making a lot, is facing some issue, and somehow have to let the CEO go, right? And this CEO is able to realistic enough to know that he can't get the same salary package as before, and he is versatile. He is adaptable enough to get an extreme pay cut and become a follower of somebody else, right? And I have seen this happen. It just blew me away, and that person has my ultimate respect, because and most of the time a lot of people will be, they can't lower down their position because of their ego, because of this and that, or their lifestyle, or whatsoever. No, there's 101 excuse, but I've only seen one person, right, or okay, maybe a handful, that is able to say no, it's fine. That is, I had my glorious days. That was my peak of my career, and it's time to, this is not the what it is now. I'm just, it's okay. It's okay, and they are able to just come down to the position and support the leader. So I think this is so admirable, right? Some of you might be thinking that this is more related to being humble. Yeah, that's a bit as well. But there are some people who are humble, but they are not able to do this. right? And some people, for give you another example of being versatile and adaptable, is that some people they're usually the one who is doing the talking, right, or the speaking, right? And but there are times when they cannot talk, they cannot speak, they cannot lead, and they will be just sitting there and listen. And they are also able to do that. And wow, you know what? This versatile, this adaptability is just so admirable. And people just look at the person, and I'm not the only one looking at that person, right? A lot of people just, even though he's not the head of the department, but he commands the most respect from all of us, right? So be versatile, be adaptable, okay? And life is just a stages. It's okay, there's ups and downs. It's not a big deal, right? Um, Next is being coachable. This is so important, right? Being coachable. Now, the thing, as I mentioned before, right? We never know everything in life. We are not going to be a Miss Know All or Mr. Know It All. So we need to be coachable, and we need to tell ourselves there's always something new to be learned, right? And so be open-minded, and and be coachable is also being taught by someone newer, being taught by someone younger, being taught by someone who is less experienced, so as to speak. You may be asking, less experience, what can they teach you? Of course, there's always something that they can teach you. Maybe they can teach you the zest that you have lost, the passion that you used to have but you have forgotten, the open-mindedness. The world is your oyster. What happened to you? You used to be like one of them. The boldness to go for it, the risk taker, and what have you become, right? So sometimes coachable is not just in terms of tangible skills, but also intangible skills. And sometimes it can be something else. It can be a values. Somebody taught you some values, and that you never thought about it. Or some people might teach you a perspective, a different perspective, like what I'm sharing with you now, right? So there are some people who don't listen to me, right? It's fine. It's not my loss. I will still share with people who wants to learn, right? So those who are coachable, they will learn something from me, and next time when I speak, when I will say I have something to share with you, they will come, right? And that's how I gather more and more people to follow me, right? And to learn from me as well, right? Yeah. So being coachable is so important. And I learned this from the hard way as well, because there was one time, I was so egoistic that I think I know it all. And it's really my own loss, because I lost the opportunity to learn from somebody else. And I was left behind. I was at the front of the pack, but later on, because of this not being coachable, right, I get behind, more and more behind, and I become the last of the herd, right? So, and I learned this from the hard way, and from there on, I tell myself I must be coachable so that I can learn something new, regardless, even if it's from an industry that I never touch on, I have no idea on. It's fine. I just learn something from there, and I adapt from there, right? Okay, and the next one we have is sense of humor. Absolutely, right? Who likes to hang out with someone funny, right? And I would say every one of us like to hang out with someone funny, right? Who wants to hang out with people who are always serious and stern? Not many of us, right? It's really hard, and we always like to have someone, just make us bring the joy to the table and have fun and all. So, and also a sense of humor is just not being a clown. I have another video talking about humor, the different types of humor. There's a dry humor, people tell jokes and they don't laugh, that kind. But the jokes are extremely funny. Usually these kind of jokes are so funny, right? And but the humor I'm talking about here is actually to be able to see the lighter side of things. So even when the sky is falling, the storm is brewing, there's trouble coming, you have not done this, you have not done that, right? Keep your sense of humor, and you will just make a joke and you crack the tension. Your mind will be more relaxed, and you can see things better, you can solve things better, more efficiently, more effectively. And trust me, right, I've seen this happen. And I know many of you have seen this happen as well. Just one something light, something a joke, right? Just something, just break the tension. And and when you see the lighter side of things, you see, hey, you know what? It's really not too bad. And you don't scare your own self, right? Sometimes we make the problem bigger than what it is. But when you start to see the lighter side of things, you will see that, maybe the problem is not that big, right? You have make it bigger than what it is, right? Right. Next, have a positive outlook, which is actually kind of linked to the sense of humor, right? Now, to have a positive outlook is for me is always I always have go by this mantra since young, right? That it will always turn out to be for the better, right? And it's just something that helps me so much, right? And it will always work out. It will always turn out for the better. And somehow you, at long term wise, there are certain things in the short term, and the immediate effect is so painful, and it is, and we can't see how can any good come out of it, right? But if you think about it, and your experience have told you, right, over long term, it might not necessarily be a bad thing. Even the negative stuff, even the frustration, the disappointment, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe if you have lost a number one customer, right, you just lost a big deal. Seriously, sometimes if you have a positive outlook, right, and for me, I have come across this is a real life experience as well. I lost one big client, and you know what, I was everybody was very worried about me and all, and because it has bring me a lot of revenue, right, this client of mine. But the thing is that I mean, of course, I'm disappointed, I'm sad, and it was amicable. It was amicable. Nothing happened. It's just they have a change of directions and wants to go with somebody else. That's fine. Things happen. That's business. And but you know what? And I go by the mantra, right? I have to practice what I preach, right? Things will always turn out for the better, right? And you know what? Not long after, I heard that client actually was going bankrupt. They have financial issue, and they are really on the verge of going bankrupt, right? And so and they owe a lot of suppliers a lot of money, right? So you see, so sometimes things may not be that bad, and we don't be disappointed. We do whatever we can, and we just tell yourself things will always work out for the better, one way or another, right? And sometimes this pandemic has also shown us, as much as a lot of negative things have come out of it, there are also some very positive things that have come out of it. The earth has a chance to rest. We all more or less have a chance to rest. And a lot of us were forced to go on to digitalization and online marketing and everything because we have no choice, right? And something that we have been we know the importance, but we don't feel the urgency. But now everyone is going online and all going virtual, and we are starting to also appreciate, going online may not be that bad, and going virtual is actually not as bad as what we think it is. So have a go at it, keep a positive outlook. Things are not as bad as it seems, right? Okay, next, problem solver, right? Yes, being a sought after person, right, is one of the traits. Really, you are able to solve problems, and people do come to you. Yes, sometimes people come to you for big and small, but consider it a privilege. And the thing is that you are a problem solver, and that means you are part of the solution. You are not part of the problems, and it is really something amazing because it's, when people come to you, or people come to you for advice, and you can tell them, hey, you just need to do this, and a lot of times and they will look at you and say, how can you see things so clearly, so clear, such clarity and all, and the respect, very naturally they will just respect you. You don't believe me? Just think of someone whom you always go to when you have a problem. Don't you have ultimate respect for them? You absolutely have, because if not, why would you go to them? Right, solving a problem. So why I mentioned this also because there are some people, they kind of complicate things. Instead of solving a problem, they add on to the problem. They start to tear things apart and say, oh, these are the problems, these are bottlenecks. So from one problem become 10. Right, instead of solving it, it's always on KIV, it's always work in progress. So you need to solve the problem. You will be rewarded tremendously. At the end of the day, whether you are working for someone or you are running your own business, right, we are all here to solve a problem, right? And we are being rewarded by the size of the problem that we solve, or the speed of the problem that we solve. So trust me, right, always be a problem solver. You solve people's problem, right? Okay, right? keep your word is the next one. Absolutely, this is so important. And keep your promises, do what you say what you do. Again, we have another video that we talk about all this problem solver, keep your words, right? And I think it should be something in the past, right? Because I do, because I study law, and I do a lot of legal works as well. And a lot of people come to me and say, and I don't give legal advice, but they are very concerned about this contract, that contract, everything want to be have contracts. Yes, have contracts, but the thing is that contracts just not limited to written contracts, but also verbal and conduct as well. I won't go into technicality. But the funny thing is that the irony is that for me, right, when I work with somebody, when I choose a partner or choose someone to outsource or whatever it is to collaborate, I actually look for someone whom I don't need a contract with, right? And I work with people whom I don't need a contract, and people whom I need a contract. In order to tie them down, I do have my reservation. Now, don't get me wrong, contracts are still good, right? But to me, it serves the purpose of more on the, for clarity, and make sure that we keep it tight. We have keep it watertight. We don't miss out anything, and it's also for memory purpose, right? We cannot remember so many things. Rather than, hey, you said this and I said that. No, write it down. That's the best part, right? So a lot of times when I do a lot of consultation, even over the phone or all this face-to-face, I will still do a summary and write down, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what I need to do. Very clear cut. So in the event that sometimes we miss out, right, or we forgot, we can always go back. But keep your words. It can be from simple things, from punctuality, that you want to be there. You say you could be there at 8 p.m. Be there at 8 p.m. That's why I like to keep start my session on time, right? Because I want to respect your time as well. Do something that is really big, like $1 million deal, right? I use $1 million. I use time and all this because it's easier to quantify, easier to visualize what I'm talking about. But there are also other things that if you promise your child to bring the child to the zoo, make sure you do that. You promise to attend birthday party, make sure you do that. You ask someone out for coffee, make sure you remember, calendar it and remember. No matter what, if you really don't want to do it, then say no. I rather you say no to me and it doesn't happen, than you say yes to me and it doesn't happen, you don't turn up. And I'm actually amazed by how people, they can make appointments and they say, I forgot. And I mean, yes, we do forget every now and then, right? But if you have a habitual, or someone has a habit of forgetting appointments, I think sometimes I will have reservation of giving them a service contract. How do I, or do a referral to them? How do I know if I pass my client to you, you will serve them properly, right? So, and if you notice, right, keeping your word, people will only pass you $1 million deal if they can handle a $10 deal. Right, so don't despise the small. That's another thing that I always tell people. Don't look down on the small things, right? If you can carry out $10, then people will give you $100. And if people can give you $100 and you carry it out well, people will give you $1,000 and 10,000 and people don't give $1 million to just nobody, right? You have to keep your words. That is how you build your track record of trustworthiness. And trust is the most important currency in this world. Something that really money cannot buy. And it takes, and there's a saying, right? It takes years to build and seconds to destroy. So I think this is really very important. It's very close to my heart. So I want to spend a bit more time on that one, right? So keep your word, no matter how small, how big it is. And say, even for punctuality, if you're going to be late, just text the person in advance at the first instant to say that, I'm going to be late. I used to be really have a trouble with that, and I have problem with that, right? I'm clinically late. It's really bad, and I really can't seem to get hold of it. Can't change that habit until my mentor one time said to me, now if you are going to be there if I tell you, if you're going to be there at 5 a.m. and you're going to have $1 million, do you think you and or that you want to tender government projects and the closing time is 5 p.m. would you be on time? And I give him a resounding yes. And that was the moment that makes me realize, being punctual is really a choice. right? It's what people have been saying, right? It's a respect for people's time and respect for your own time as well. So it's really a choice. Once I realized it's really a choice, and I have not been respecting other people's time, and it really made me change. Now it's not easy. It didn't happen overnight, but I'm improving. I'm improving every day in that sense. But with that, the funny thing is that once I start doing that, a lot of things have changed, and it spilled over to many of my other activities as well. And now I tend to be early in a lot of things in what I do, right? So that punctuality is just one of them. Keep your words. Say what you do what you say, right? That's a very simple principle to remember, right? Next, respect, value, and be considerate of others, right? Okay, I kind of cheated on this one, right? You kind of got 3 in 1, right? Okay, but I just have to put it in, right? Be a sought after person. A sought after person, right? Someone who respect others, someone who value others, someone who think of others, considerate, right? So, and if you can just be someone like that, you will when you respect someone, the other person will reciprocate. They will respect you. When you value someone, they will value you back. And when you are considerate to others, people will tend to considerate to you as well. If they are not, maybe because they are not aware of, but simply that, and it's that unintentional. It's also easier to tell them, to correct them in that sense, right? So I think this is just so-called common sense, but common sense are not so common these days, right? So if you cannot remember everything, and do remember this number 9: respect others, value others, and think of others, right? And the last but not least, the sought after person, they know who they are, and they accept themselves wholeheartedly. That means they know their identity, they know who they are, right? They know their flaws as well. I talked about flaws and talents in my last video. You can go and check it out. It doesn't mean an egoistic, I am better than you kind of, it's really stinky, but they know who they are, meaning they know their flaws, they know their talents, they know their strengths, their weaknesses, they know what are other people's talents and strengths and weaknesses as well, their flaws and their talents as well, and they accept wholeheartedly who they are. And so this makes them very grounded, and it's okay that when people tell them off, then they are not certain, maybe certain things they have overlooked, or they have wrong. When they are being told they are wrong, right? They are okay with it. So these are the people. How many people you know of, right? When they are being told they made a mistake, how many of people can really take it calmly, and accept wholeheartedly and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm wrong. It's not many people are able to do that, willing to do that, right? And again, myself is also learning about this, but they are able to do that, right? It's because they really know who they are, and they're well grounded, and they know they just accept who they are wholeheartedly, right? Okay, so now these are the 10 fundamental traits of a sought after person, right? I'll put in the chat group, the chat box, comments box, and for you so it's easier for you to recap. Right, there are many other good traits that are not here, such as being humble, being articulate, and even grooming, right? It doesn't mean they are not good or important. It's just that I have to make a choice. I said that right from the beginning. And I believe that why I decided on this 10 is because I believe once these 10 are in place, the rest will follow. Many things will follow, right? So what do you think of these 10 traits? What about you? What are the 10 characteristics of a sought after person? In your opinion, what are the 10 traits or 10 characteristics? Put it in the comments box and let us know what are they. Now, this is a very big topic, and we have many videos to expound in this area. Right, that's all I have for today. I trust that you have learned at least one thing today. And if you internalize what we have shared here today, you will be one step closer to your destination. Now, many people have asked me why I'm speaking and doing training on the topic of people skills. It's because people skills is a very practical and important skill set. I would say it's a life-saving skill set. And I know many of you are concerned about being replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. I totally believe that people skill is one skills one skill set that will never be replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. You can learn about coding, cyber security, etc. But these are technical skills that will get obsolete and you will have to keep improving yourself in these areas. Yes, they are important. I'm not knocking them down. I'm not just talking about IT skills, okay? Every technical skills. But behind every hardware, software, non-living things, there's a human being. This is what keeps me going because I know behind every camera, there is one person watching, learning, and needing this message. So it doesn't matter what business or what industry are you in, you are always dealing with people. Furthermore, let's face it, we are all social animals, right? We crave for the company of other people. Now, this pandemic has shown us more so than ever. With all this safe distancing, not able to gather with your family and friends, it has shown us that even with the best technology, it cannot replace the company of each other. So you might as well start learning how to deal with people, and the first person to start with is with yourself. So like, share, subscribe, and follow us on this journey of improving yourself, right? Okay, so see you in our next video. Bye.